All right, so continuing on with Berserk. Oh yeah, loving this so much more. So we're diving into like crazy religious zealots, which is just one of my favorite things to explore. Doesn't matter if we're doing shades of gray, doesn't matter if we're just full on crazy. So especially with Farnes, we're going with Farnes. Don't know if I'm saying that right. I wasn't sure how I was going to feel about her, and I'm still not sure. I'm still hesitant, but she's enjoying the torture too much, whether that's been because of demon possession or childhood trauma, most likely throwing sticks on fire. I'm not sure, but I'm going to enjoy seeing where her character arc goes, and I'm very excited for that. It's again going into some of my favorite themes in Berserk, and that being Guts being just completely absorbed by this darkness around him, so lost in it, so lost in his revenge, his anger, his hatred to his enemy, that he is overlooking the good things in his life and the good possibility that could exist. And on the one hand, yes, demonic war, bad, terrible things happening, bigger things at play, he should stop that to help other people. But at the same time, he could just go live on a little farm, helping the blacksmith and just being a good person with Casca and Rickard. Like, he could have a happy life, but he's choosing to follow the path of revenge and hatred. And I love that for Berserk. Yeah, let's just talk about it piece by piece here. I am gotta catch a plane in the morning, so chances are this might be a little bit of a shorter video. I have read pretty much all of Berserk volume, which one is this? 6. But I'm only going to be talking about the first little bit of the second half here, so it's in the descriptions what chapters I'm covering, but there's a chance I might say something that's related to later on. Okay, so we start off with, I'm pretty sure it's a dream everyone's having. The 100-Year War just kind of ended, but still, things are terrible in this world. Disease, rats covering cities, earthquakes, monsters, invasions, and everyone's having a dream, I think it is, because everyone's seeing this. The first page is a little unclear of whether or not we're being literal or this actually happens, because the wars and plagues are definitely still happening. But in all this darkness, the people seen a vision of this bird of light, whatever, a Griffith, who knows what it is. And later on, we get the crazy king that was in love with his daughter, and her who was in love with Griffith. Yeah, she still wants to run away with him and is refusing to see her father. Good for her, because abuser, terrible person, we don't like him. But at the same time, the bird of light thing, do they describe it as a Griffith? I don't want to say that they do. Maybe it was a crow? Raven? Then amid such discord, they caught sight of a single shining hawk. Oh yeah, hawk of darkness, hawk of light. Yeah, that's what it is. So this hawk comes and envelops her, and it's got the face of Griffith. So I don't believe this beautiful presence that is related to crazy religious order is actually a good thing. Yeah, if Guts is the hawk of darkness and not actually Griff, we're going with that's the good side. And Griffith with his light and beautiful angel imagery, definitely not good. So she's refusing to see her father. And as much as I want to see her be a bigger role, especially because I don't even know if she's dead or alive at this point, I'm assuming she's alive, but like enemy invaders with a bunch of elephants have taken over her kingdom after her father dies, which makes her queen, and she was supposed to elect a regent, but no, invading army. So like, is she alive? She's probably alive. She better not have been like forced to marry someone else to give them a legitimate rule or something like that. That'd just be terrible. I also really like with the crazy father, he is hallucinating, he's calling out to his daughter, she refuses to see him, and then he's having this imagery, and there's people protecting him on the throne, but there is just the sky above him, his castle's cold, and, what's her name? Sandra? No? Charlotte, there we go. He's calling out for Charlotte, and she is his source of warmth and comfort and good. And then that hawk comes down and keeps her away from him. And then he dies, as he should. Do not like. I'm assuming he's dead. He's dead. We don't like him. But God, I don't want to be focused on her. The girl with the black hair from the Black Swordsman arc, Teresa, I miss her. I want her to come back into play, and I'm very excited. I'm hoping she does. Yeah, so that's all going on with them. I don't think there's anything else I really need to say about them. There's another one who I think was with his kingdom. He's like walking through the streets, and there's a river that's flooded everything. And he's pulling bodies out of the river, and he seems like a nice nobleman who actually cares about the people and all that they're suffering, which is a lovely like shred of a little beacon of light in such a dark, dark world to know that there are people that are trying to do good, trying to help others. I fully expected him to die because Berserk just crushes that light and leaves you in just pain. But he goes to a village that's overswarmed with rats, and there's an old man there talking about how his family is gone, they're dead, and this is his home, so he might as well die here with the rats, and saying the rats brought the plague with him. And just as a small side note, I don't even know if this is true, but I do remember watching, it might have been a documentary, it might have been a random fiction movie, but it was covering like the Black Plague, and people had thought it was like a curse by witches when it first happened or something. So like they used to kill all the cats because the cats were like symbols of witches, but the cats were hunting the rats, and the rats were actually carrying the plague. So this religious fear of witches led to the plagues getting worse, and if that's something that could have happened in this, that'd be really cool, but it seems like they know that the rats bring the plague. But we do get more like witches and demons and heretics throughout this chapter, and that's just a delight. I love it when we have that imagery. But that being said, I am not going to argue that if someone was to say, yeah, Berserk has a lot of horror and depressing moments, but it's also a comedy because it gets so ridiculous. I'm not going to make it in this video to this section of this story, but by God, it goes full off the walls crazy. And I'm like, sure, that can turn into a snake. That's fine. He can kiss it. It's fine. Am I supposed to be taking this seriously? This is humor. And like between Puck being a delight and Guts' facial expressions and just noping out, I'm just like, this is a comedy. This is a comedy some of the time. We get Zod again. It's great to see him back in the story. Him and his parallels with Skull Knight Guy. I like their dynamic, so I want Zod to come more into the story. And he, of course, as he always is in like a battlefield with hundreds, thousands of bodies around. And it's just like, cool, seems about right, random Thursday. And he's thinking about how there's no one left to challenge him, and he's thinking about the Skull Knight, okay, you will be my eternal rival. But then, of course, remembering Guts, like, he got some potential. But then all of a sudden, that Hawk of Light comes down, like severs his horn off, and he's like, what the hell? He wakes up and he's bleeding and that horn is down. So the dream imagery is definitely having an effect on the real world. Besides that, you will also later in chapters, we get these like eyes, and it's like we're seeing, we've witnessed something, and then all of a sudden it's like we're looking through somebody's eyes that's also observing the same thing. So it feels like we're constantly being watched throughout this arc, and oh, love that. I'm assuming Griffith is watching us. I'm assuming he's stuck in a different dimension right now, and the heretics burning festival thing that is coming will maybe allow him to cross into our world again, because we got whispers of the eclipse repeating, but it not being a full eclipse, but having the possibility to be something similar. So loving that idea. Guts and Puck end up taking refuge in some Stonehenge-looking thing because nowhere, there's too many dead bodies, there's too many bad mojo everywhere, there's spirits haunting them everywhere. They need to get a good night's sleep. So hey, let's go chill right here is the best we can do. So sun's coming down, but it's casting a shadow over one of the rocks, and creepy fetus baby demon corrupted of Guts and Casca's appears, and apparently this one's on our side. Now, I had said previously I wanted fetus baby thing to come back into the story, but when I said that, I wasn't referring to like Black Swordsman seeing him there. I was thinking more like future Trunks, Dragon Ball Z, where parallel world, future whatever, something like, hey, here's a fully grown adult version of me and I'm gonna help you out kind of thing. That's what I was kind of expecting. I was not expecting fetus baby to continue to appear. I was also not expecting him to help us out. I say him, it could be a girl. Fetus baby. So it appeared, and it's giving Guts vision of Casca burning. like a witch on a pyre. And I'm like, oh, that's not good. Guts is not having that. He lost her once nearly with the eclipse. He's not risking her again. Puck is getting like the visions of what Guts is feeling, and trauma. Trauma is what he's feeling. He races back to Rickett and the old man Ironsmith and his apparently adopted daughter. He found her in a war zone and just like, oh, your parents are dead. You come with me. I'll take responsibility for you now. So love that. Love their dynamic. So nice. But he is now going back, and the girl, what's her name again? Erica. So Erica ends up trying to squat Puck like a fly, and it's just like, oh, I'll just take him to show Rickard this cool little bug thing I found. And then looming shadow. Scary, scary thing. And then big smile because Erica recognizes Guts, and I love that. He's so terrifying, and she's so happy to see him, and it's a delight, and he's happy to see her. He says hi to Rickett. He's so happy to see him, that you're doing well. Where's Casca? Pleasantries out of the way. Happy you're alive. Where is she? She kind of got it. How'd she get it? Well, she had been in a cellar for 2 years. We thought it'd be good for her to see the sunlight. She was going crazy, but she ran away. You let her run away. Why aren't you out there looking for her? Excuse me, you left us for 2 years with no way of caring for her. We've been making do with however we can. I've done everything I can to find her. Yeah, Rickett's been out there every day for months trying to find her, days and nights, but he can't do it anymore because the old man is sick and in bed and he's needed here. He is staying with his family to protect what he cares about and not running away. Basically the gist of the conversations. So Guts is upset that Casca's missing, but eventually he realizes that with the old man sick, Rickett needed to stay with Erica and help out here and take care of everyone in his new home, and they tried their best to find Casca, but she has run off, supposedly to this pillar place where a bunch of refugees have ended up, and some bad people are going to show up. But, oh, I gotta go with, like, the actual quotes, because when he goes and talks to the old man, it is so good. Alright, so he's up to the old man, and the old man is just looking at his, like, beat-up sword and all the nicks and damage to it. It's still a strong sword, but it's damaged on the outside. So representative of Guts. Listen, I like subtle metaphors, similes, imagery, whatever. I like it subtle, symbolism, it's great, but sometimes I like it when it's just in your face, so love that. Blade nicks, blood rust, bend shouldn't be this way even after 10 years. This is going to take more than just a little elbow grease. You really make a blacksmith cry, you know that? So if you didn't hate that much, you wouldn't even be able to stand up. Really put in there what I said, like, you can choose between feeling sadness and regret and gloom and just wallow in that, or you can feel the hatred, and hatred is easier to feel. It's easier motivation to keep you moving forward, but it's definitely not the healthiest option. 2 years ago when Rickert rolled in here with the two of you busted up, I don't know what it was that happened to you all. Afterwards, when that monster came calling, I guess I had some clue what it could have been. So you're waging war against things like that. I can't even say that in itself is sane. But even if your reason is retaliation or revenge, you ain't you just escaping to war, to hatred. So again, not facing his trauma, just full on running into his emotions of hatred and fear. Just listen to the ramblings of an old dying man. The thing about hatred is the place where people who can't look sorrow in the eye without wavering run off to. Vengeance is like soaking a blood-rusted sword in even more blood and sharpening it. You sink that blade called your heart deep into the blood in order to fix the nicks called sorrow. The more you sharpen, the more it rusts, so you sharpen it again. And in the end, all that's left is a pile of rust and scraps. And Guts says, oh, come on, it ain't like you to lecture. You tell me to become a blacksmith or something? And the blacksmith says, I wouldn't blame you if you want to. You've got some huge nicks in your heart. Damn cracks called fear running all through it. And Guts just being alone and not only remembering the after effects of the eclipse and not just how he lost everyone so brutally, but like all that they were is now taken from the world. All the good that they could have accomplished, that they could have done, the joy that they could have brought into this world is just gone and lost. And it's honestly heartbreaking. Blacksmith saying, you abandoned those irreplaceable things. You went alone. On that day, 2 years ago, in your hopeless suffering, you left the last irreplaceable thing you had and went away by yourself. You were right beside those irreplaceable things, talk about Casca mostly, but also Rickard, yet you couldn't bear to immerse yourself together in sorrow with them. So instead you ran away so that your own malice could burn within you. Am I wrong? And it's all just so heartbreaking. He goes to Rickard, who has spent this time not just in grief, but kind of coping it away and moving on in a more healthier sense. And he's making these swords and putting them in the ground as like markers to those who've died, those they've lost, like they would in the battlefield. And it's not enough swords that to represent everyone that they've lost, but it's something. It's a memorial. It's grief. And each sword he makes, he improves his skills, and he's learning as a blacksmith, and he's paying respect and saying goodbye to everyone that he's lost. And it's a healthier way to cope. But also, again, demons, bad things happening, should probably get rid of those. So Guts isn't completely irresponsible. I just love everything, though, because they go down to the cave, and they're taking Guts's sword to repair it and sharpen it, but he can't sleep, even knowing that he's safe in this cave, that the demon creature's spirits can't get to him there. He can't sleep without his sword beside him, and he hasn't stopped seeing Casca's assault since that time. He's always picturing it. He's picturing the torment of the eclipse, and it's all getting worse and worse, and he can't help but run through to that hatred. And then you have that demon version of himself. Like, this can't be a spirit that's trying to attack him or manipulate him, because that can't get into the case. So this is just his own interpretation of himself becoming a monster, and fear, malice. I don't know, possibly it's both, but I can never atone for this dark flame. If I can't atone, if I can't escape, all I can do is burn myself and my enemies with it. And you see that monster around him. The blood must flow, so keep killing. It will still thirst forever, all alone, always. He's just remembering his last moments with the Band of the Hawk, his last good moments with Casca when they were in love. And keeping in mind, Guts like killed 100 men, probably more, who threatened her before they got together, and now religious crazy people are threatening her after he realized he's in love with her, after they've lost a child, after they've gone through the eclipse, after she is all he has left. Guts is going to burn the world down to get Casca back with his own damn power. He's like, I will save her. I will not fail again. So once he gets her this time, I hope they stay together. I don't want a constant, all right, I'm leaving her behind, I'm going to fulfill my mission, and I'll be back. I'll be back for this irreplaceable thing. I'll be back for the love of my life. I don't like phrasing it as, like, she's an object. I also need her to get her sense of self back. But I want them together. I don't want her left behind while Guts is doing his thing, but that being said, he can't exactly bring her along in the condition she's in. So I need her to recover, but that's not looking good. So Rickard and the old blacksmith work together. He's using the last of his strength to fix Guts' sword. Puck thanks Rickard, saying you were important to him, and of course Rickard says, I want to thank you for being with Guts, because I think the only reason he's still sane, whatever little bit of sanity he's holding on to, is because of you and your influence. So I love that. I love everyone respecting Puck. He is wonderful. I love him. And of course, Guts leaves without saying goodbye. He kind of says goodbye, but he doesn't look back. And the old man's just like, so like you. I guess it's better than being all gloomy. But like, I'm probably going to die before you get back, and you're not even going to turn around for a final glance. And I'm like, yeah, that's very much like Guts. So he's gone off to get to Casca. Meanwhile, Furness, whatever her name is explaining to the higher-ups how they lost the Black Swordman, possible hack of darkness, not her fault. Hey, you got a bunch of noblemen killed? That's not good. We're taking away your responsibility for this, and we're going to reassign you. You can't do that to me. We just did. The only reason you're still even a little bit in charge is because, A, your position is ceremonial, needs to be held by, I can't remember if it's a woman or a maiden or whatever, and also your family is rich, so your father pulled some strings to keep you from getting in trouble. Moving on. They are now the guards of the man with the flat face, because I'm probably not going to make it to this part of the story quite yet, but he repeatedly throws himself on the floor to smash his face into the ground for his love of God, as like penance or whatever to show his devotion. And I'm just like, that's weird. And it's a whole panel of him just face planted right into the ground. And I'm like, Berserk can be a comedy sometimes, because that's ridiculous. But anywho, he's in a carriage. He's like an inquisitor, but a torturer. We don't like this man. He's full-on Looney Tunes crazy. And him and his other crazy subjects are all traveling through. Iron Chain Knights, Farnese is guiding them, protecting them, going along their way when they're ambushed. And people jump him as just like, you killed our entire town. Women, children, innocents, all of them. My brother... no one was spared, and now we are going to kill you. So they ran the thing off the road, they're attacking, does not go well. They're all instantly taken down by the other Inquisitors, and they decide to be put on the wheel, where their bodies are broken, they're still alive, and they're left for the crows to eat. And I'm just like, that is brutal. I had thought, like, you know, buried in fire ants was like the worst way to go, but apparently not. Apparently this is the worst way to go, because all the trauma. And for half a second, I'm like, is Farnese here, Farnese, whatever her name is, going to be upset by the amount of torture that's happening? Or what? No, she's like, she's got a smile. She's like, they attacked the Inquisitor people. They should be burnt alive. He's like, yeah, well, I'm in charge. I recognize you are saying the correct thing, but I think the wheel's more suitable. Yes, that's a good idea. I would never question your judgments. Yeah, she's getting off to the torture. In fact, she gets off to the torture even more later on. So as the rebels are being broken on the wheel / trying to run for it, one of them runs into Casca, who's very much out of it. No one's really taken her seriously. And he's begging for help, but she gets pulled away by a prostitute from the camp, Lucia, something like that. I like her. Smart girl, knows how to take care of herself, and decides to take care of Casca as well. I'm liking anyone who takes care of Casca, especially because she needs help in this state. But basically, don't try to help him or you're just going to be pulled into this as well. And the themes of that, so many people are being brutally tortured because of this Spanish Inquisition kind of thing that's going on, and you have to participate to a sense, whether that's throwing a stone, throwing a torch onto the fire, turning away, not offering help or comfort, because if you do anything other than approve, support, participate in the torture that is happening around you, you're going to be confused or accused of being a heretic, being part of the ploy, being part of this, and get tortured yourself. So it's turning people against each other, and I love the little moments of darkness but also humanity that comes through this series so far, and I really can't wait to finish this arc. So I need to get going because I need to catch a plane soon, but I'm very excited to continue on when I get back. So I will check in probably in a week's time. All right,